this is Jenny from Just Being Me, and you're listening to the Learning to Love Yourself podcast, the show that inspires you to put yourself first.
Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness. Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and welcome to the very first episode of Learning to Love Yourself. As this podcast is about self-care journeys, I thought it was only right and proper that I shared mine. From being a little girl, I was told I was difficult. And when it got to school, I was told I was stupid as well. I always yearned to be part of something that always felt different and left on the outside. My family expected me to look after them, but not to expect anything back from them. Looking back now, I can see that my parents were two damaged souls who shouldn't have been together. Senior school was no better. I was put into all the bottom sets and really felt outside of everything that went on. I left home at 16 and became dependent on myself. Come the time for marriage, I so desperately wanted to create a loving family that I was part of, but actually that didn't work out either. I was too difficult and too hard to handle. So I was on my own with 3 children. I wanted to prove that actually I wasn't stupid, so I took myself back to university, and that's where I discovered I wasn't stupid at all. I just learnt differently. And with the right teacher, I grew and grew. I achieved my degree in criminology, but still felt different, felt unwanted, unattractive, and couldn't maintain pretending to be something I wasn't. I lived in a not particularly nice place and wanted something better for my children, so the magical move to Devon happened. I felt like I was at home. Life was slower and I lived in a community that welcomed me. They wanted me to be part of them. I met my now husband, who was and still is very secure in himself. He always made sure that his cup was full before he gives anything to others. I didn't realize it back then, but he had it sussed. I started volunteering for a domestic abuse charity and didn't look back for 10 years. I grew through many jobs and studied my way to being manager of the project. I learned how to support people. I learned how to manage chaotic people. I learned how to lead a team. I learned how to teach people to change their life patterns. All of this without realizing that I still wasn't taking care of me. I learned that when I got burnt out and had to leave. So I floundered around in different jobs until my mother-in-law needed support. She needed me 4 times a day for meals and bedtime. To manage doing this, I started supporting a lady who was slowly going blind and needed someone to be her eyes. Then very sadly, we had 6 deaths in our world in a few months, which included my mother-in-law and the lady I supported. So I was trying to deal with a lot of grief, which felt absolutely overwhelming, and finding another way to earn a living. I was very low. I felt desperate. I wanted and needed support. So I approached our local counselling service, who said that they couldn't support me whilst I was so chaotic, and to approach them again when they could support me with my long-term issues. No, this wasn't what I wanted to hear. It's not what I needed either. I needed someone just to hold my hand whilst I calmed down and worked out what to do. My husband was dealing with his own grief, and it was a make or break situation for me. I sort of shut everyone out as it felt like they all needed a part of me that was just too much to give. I turned to the internet and found breathwork, meditation, affirmations, and the amazing Abraham Hicks. I created myself a daily ritual and rituals that could immediately be used if I was struggling. The darkness began to lift and I realized that I was feeling happy at times. I started to believe in myself. I realized that the only person who could make me happy was me. That so long as I was happy with who I was, the rest really didn't matter. As the days and the weeks progressed, I consistently noticed how I was feeling. I was conscious of my reactions, of the people I was around, and to information I was absorbing. I spent time researching why I reacted the way I did and how to support myself. It was hard and very lonely at times, but I attended a fabulous conference held by Dare to Be You, and it consolidated everything for me. and started me thinking that I needed to get back into supporting others, but on my terms. This meant self-employed. Then the fabulous Rachel from NeuroBoost came into my online world. Rachel was ADHD and neurodiverse, and I began listening to her because we were trying to identify if my son had ADHD. The more I listened, the more I realized she was describing me and how I felt. The way that ADHD brains functioned was just like my head was being explained. The relief was amazing. I wasn't difficult. I wasn't too much. I wasn't stupid. I was neurodiverse. So now I had my firm strategy for my self-care and started my journey on understanding how my ADHD affected me. I was still trying to get my coaching business going, but struggling with everything that came with running just a business. Then I saw that Rachel was visiting Devon, and I very bravely messaged and asked if we could meet. The day came and I had about an hour to spend with her. We went and got a green tea. Cream comes first, of course, because we're in Devon. Well, it soon became very obvious that an hour wasn't going to be enough, so I cancelled as much as I could, and 3 hours later, we had mapped out my business, which is now flourishing beyond my wildest dreams. And my life as I know it now all started because I decided to look after myself first, to take time for me, even if it only was telling myself I was amazing or doing some breath work whilst I was sat on the loo. It's the consistency that matters. So if you'd like to come and be part of my world, the links to my social media will be in the comments, as well as the ways that you can come and work with me. But don't forget, learning to love yourself is the path to happiness. Thanks for listening today. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the links down below. Oh, and don't forget to press subscribe so you can catch the next one. See you soon.
On the path to happiness, learning